Are you tired of honesty? Sick of straight answers? Want to throw your money away faster than a gambler in Atlantic City? Then boy, do we got the man for you. Introducing Tony Bum Pizza. The only YouTuber who can tell you he's homeless and a mob boss in the same breath. Cry about rent one night and brag about being untouchable the next. Survive poison pizza from the Iceman while somehow still losing to a Motel 6 manager. Act now and you'll get the Leon Dog Barks soundtrack. Every time you donate, hear Leon cough like he's begging for royalties. The motel curtain backdrop, TM, adds that authentic hobo chic atmosphere to any live stream. Tony's 3-in-1 Lies package. Part gangster. Part veteran. Part bum. 100% baloney. But wait, there's more. If you call now, Tony will throw in a fake Kuklinski pizza slice comes pre-poisoned with oregano. A sob story about the dog's surgery that never happens. And his signature phrase, "Send me money or I'll disappear." Warning. Side effects include uncontrollable laughter, regret for every dollar spent, and realizing you just got grifted by a guy who can't even pay for Wi-Fi. Tony Bum Pizza, because why donate to charity when you can sponsor a clown?
Muggs, what the fuck you doing in there, you prick?
Pizzaverse, Grimm Tales, the Gingerbread Goof. Jersey mornings always smelled the same. Diesel fumes, cold rain on busted concrete, and the faint perfume of somebody's bad choices. Above a sagging, check-cashing storefront, behind curtains stained yellow with cigarette smoke, sat Tony FakeWiseGuy Pizza, a man with nothing left but stories, the kind of stories that stretch longer than his rent payments. Tony was broke again. Nothing new. The landlord had started leaving notes on the door that read more like threats than requests. But Tony had an idea, and when Tony had an idea, God helped the neighborhood. The kitchen of delusions. Tony stormed into his busted kitchen, the one with warped linoleum tiles and a stove that clicked like a nervous rat before it caught flame. He started pulling things from the cabinets like a maestro about to conduct a symphony. Only instead of violins, he had stale flour. Instead of trumpets, expired gumdrops. And for percussion, the sound of a jar of marinara hitting the counter with a wet thud. He lit his cigar, tapping ash right into the mixing bowl. "This ain't no accident," he muttered. "This is heritage, a secret recipe, straight from the streets." His hand slapped the dough like it owed him money. He shaped it with all the finesse of a guy molding excuses. 2 stumpy arms, legs bent like they'd been broken in collections. A grin, painted not in frosting, but in marinara. Pepperoni slices for buttons. The gingerbread man, Tony Pizza style. He shoved it into the oven, crossing his arms like he'd just declared himself emperor of cuisine. When the oven dinged, Tony flung the door open. Heat blasted him, carrying with it a smell that was equal parts burnt dough, tomato paste, and regret. And then, before he could even reach for the tray, the thing jumped. The goof tore down the Jersey block like a marinara missile. Sauce splattered the pavement behind it, every step leaving greasy red footprints on cracked cement. It darted through puddles, past busted neon signs, and straight toward the heart of the neighborhood. Tony stumbled after it, his cigar bouncing out of his mouth, his loafers slapping the pavement. Every few steps he had to bend over, hands on his knees, wheezing like a busted radiator. But he kept going. Onlookers watched from stoops, shaking their heads. "A grown man chasing a cookie," one muttered. "Only in this neighborhood." Supreme and P9. The first witnesses to the madness were Supreme and P9, parked on the curb in their dump truck. They were tossing trash bags into the hopper, working the neighborhood circuit when they saw it. A cookie with pepperoni buttons darting between parked cars. "Yo, P9, Supreme said, pointing. "Tell me I ain't seeing this." P9 squinted. "That's Tony's handiwork, bro. Pepperoni nipples. Has his fingerprints all over it." The Goof zipped right between their legs, shouting back, "Out of my way, dump truck dopes! You can't catch me either!" Supreme dropped his bag of trash. "Did that cookie just call me a dope?" P9 shrugged. "You gonna chase it?" Supreme shook his head. "Hell no. That thing looks possessed. Tony's problem, not mine." Tony came barreling up a minute later, out of breath. "Stop him! Stop my soldier!" The two dump truckers just stared at him. "Soldier?" Supreme asked. "Tony, that's a snack." Admiral Impeach, the Goof ran on, marinara dripping down its chest until it reached a corner where a familiar figure was standing. Admiral Iron Fist Impeach, dressed in a thrift store uniform, metals clinking like bottle caps, clipboard in hand. He spotted the cookie and saluted. "Halt! You've been conscripted into the Pizzaverse army. I hereby recruit you into service." The Goof didn't even slow down. "Forget it, you corrupt cocksucker!" it yelled, darting around him. The Admiral's face turned red. He scribbled something on his clipboard, muttering, "That's insubordination, dishonorable discharge before enlistment." Tony stumbled up seconds later, doubled over and gasping. "Admiral, did you grab him?" Impeach puffed out his chest. "I nearly did. A strategic retreat on my command." Tony glared. "You lost to a cookie." Juggalo at La Tavelinera. The Goof kept running until it reached the tavern, La Tavelinera. The door swung open, and out stepped Juggalo. His grin was painted in chaos, his laugh sharp enough to cut glass. He leaned against the doorframe, watching the cookie tear past, sauce splattering in its wake. Behind it came Tony, wheezing, shoes untied, hair plastered with sweat. Juggalo just chuckled. "What am I seeing here? A cookie with more hustle than its maker?" He didn't move to stop it. Didn't even blink. He just shook his head and let out that low laugh, the one that made men nervous. Tony can't keep a crew, can't keep a story straight, and now he can't even keep a cookie from running away. The neighborhood saw it too. Word spread quick, and Tony's shame doubled with every retelling. The Gingerbread Goof finally reached the river. Wind whipped off the water, carrying the stink of old tides and forgotten promises. The cookie stood at the edge, chest puffed out, marinara dripping like blood. It thought it had won. But waiting on the shore was no fox. In this version of the tale, the predator was Bambi Palermo. Leather jacket, cigarette dangling from her lips, an espresso cup steaming in her hand. She didn't chase. She didn't plead. She just stood there, cool as the river itself. The Goof sneered, "You can't catch me either, sweetheart." Bambi smirked, took a drag off her cigarette, and dunked the cookie straight into her espresso. She held it under till the bubbles stopped. No words, no ceremony, just silence and steam. Tony arrived late, gasping and gagging. He saw the espresso cup, crumbs floating on the surface. His face twisted in horror. "My soldier! My legacy!" Bambi blew smoke in his face. "Legacy? Tony, the only thing you ever cooked was excuses. Cookies don't make crews. Crews are built on truth, and you ain't got that." From a distance, Juggalo chuckled again. Supreme and P9 drove past in their dump truck, laughing their heads off. Admiral Impeach saluted himself in a storefront window, pretending he'd been part of history. And Tony? He slumped to the curb, head in his hands, tears dripping onto a cold slice of pizza. The Merle the Gingerbread Goof was gone, drowned in espresso, and forgotten by everyone but Tony. But the story lived on, whispered from stoops to bar stools. A warning. Don't build an empire out of gingerbread when you can't even afford bread. Don't mistake noise for power. Don't mistake sugar for loyalty. And don't mistake excuses for heritage. In the Pizzaverse, phonies get exposed. Clowns get laughed at. Cookies get dunked. and only the truth survives. And that's the tale, kids. The gingerbread goof came and went, a flash of marinara in mouth, drowned in the truth like all phonies do. But this ain't just a bedtime story for the streets. Nah, this is Pizzaverse Grimm tales, where the cookies don't crumble, they get whacked. So listen, if you got a laugh, if you got something out of this twisted bedtime fable, do the right thing. Hit subscribe, or Supreme's dump truck parks itself in your algorithm. Smash that like button harder than Tony smashes excuses. Drop a comment below. Let me know which part had you spitting your espresso. And share this with your crew so the next bum thinking of building an empire out of gingerbread learns the lesson early. This is Bambi's Pizzaverse. We tell it raw, we tell it real, and we don't miss. Stay sharp, patience, because in this world, the truth's hotter than coffee. And if you ain't ready for it, you're just another cookie waiting to get dunked.
Tell my story. The Iceman poisoned my cheeseburger. I beat up Hector Camacho in a street fight. I fought in MSG with Floyd Patterson and Jerry Cooney were watching. I spent $20,000 a week with Sammy the Bull. Yeah, right. Tony the Con-Man. Tony the Con-Man. Tony the fucking Con-Man. Yeah, right. Tony the Con-Man. Tony the Con-Man. Tony the fucking Con-Man. I was mistaken for Joey Molino when I was in South Philly and interviewed by the media. I shared champagne with John Cena in Florida when Mikey the Bat was killed. John Gotti kissed me on the forehead and said they don't make men like us anymore. I was arrested in Utah with a machine gun on my way to watch Sammy the Ball. Yes, sir. Tony the Bomb. Tony the Bomb. Tony the fucking Bomb. I had a beef with the Bordeaux and ran to Philly where I met Salvi Tester. John Gotti kissed me on the forehead and said they don't make men like us anymore. I had streets with my last name on it in Malta and Sicily. Okay, Tony the bullshitter. Tony the bullshitter. Tony the fucking bullshitter. I hung around John Gotti, Tony Pep, Joey Bang Bang from the Bronx, the Varios, the Testers. I was hog-tied and thrown off a bridge, only to be saved by a clever. I hung out with a guy named Captain Chaos. Sonny Francis used to bounce me off his lap and feed me bacon. Yeah! Tony the storyteller. Tony the storyteller. Tony the fucking storyteller. The FBI used to watch me from the van while I panhandled from my refrigerator box like a filthy ball. I spent 20 years with Peter Pasta and Sonny Francesi and Michael for 2 years. People watched my Maltese cross 3 times in Malta, all the way in Malta. Sure, they ain't dead. Tony is scumbag. Tony is scumbag. Tony, you fucking scumbag. You can't be something you're not. Fake mobster, cop, collar, king, doctor. King Tut, Fiji, black for cold dancer. Shaka, shaka, boo, boo, boo. You're squatting in that abandoned camp, betrayed in your sense of their hard-earned money. Their hard